You've been selected to serve as UVA's interim president. What do you want the UVA community to know about you?
I'm a longtime member of this community. I've been on the law school faculty for 35 years. I love Charlottesville. I love UVA. I'm a huge fan of UVA athletics. I raised two sons in Charlottesville, and so at least I have a lot of experience and a lot of affection for this community.
And what is your long-term vision for the university?
My long-term vision for the university is for us to be a leader in civil discourse and debate and exposing our students to a wide variety of viewpoints, making sure that we teach them how to think and make them able to express their own views and ideas effectively.
UVA prides itself on values of academic freedom, shared governance, student self-governance. What do those values mean to you?
Well, academic freedom is a core principle on which the university was built. Thomas Jefferson was quite clear on that point, and it should inform everything we do. Free speech is a particular passion of mine. I want to make sure that everyone in our community feels that they can express their ideas without fear of any form of ostracism or retaliation. That's partly a cultural issue, and its culture tends to start at the top, so I want to make sure that I model and try as best I can to make sure that other leaders model those values for our students and faculty.
You talked about modeling those values. Could you talk about what you're doing now to do that while you're in office?
Absolutely. Next week, I'll be going to one of the table talks that will encourage students to have an open conversation with one another. I've been trying to support as best I can a variety of free speech related activities, including, of course, handing out materials and otherwise informing students about what free and open discourse really looks like.
So something that's come up recently is the Compact for Academic Excellence in Higher Education, and if agreed to by UVA, it would assert some sort of government control over a public university. You said it would be difficult for UVA to agree to some of the provisions in the Compact, so what provisions do you find concerning?
Let me talk about the Compact more generally. From World War II onward, the federal government and research universities have been partners working on research that has improved the lives of Americans and indeed of people around the world. It would be very much in the country's best interest for that partnership to continue. And I therefore think that every university, both those that received the proposal from the federal government and those that didn't, should be willing to talk to the federal government about ways to improve higher education. Some of the goals identified in the Compact are laudable. We should think about cost. We should be in favor of open debate and diversity of ideas. There are good ways and bad ways of achieving that, and I think it's important that we be willing to communicate that to the federal government.
Could you talk about where this decision stands? Like, where are you in the process of responding to or communicating with the federal government?
So as of today, where we are is I will shortly receive a report from a working group about the various proposals within the document and how they would interact with things that we're doing or not doing. And then I will have to make a decision about how to communicate our position to the federal government. I expect that will take place over the next week or two.
So the Faculty Senate and Student Council have spoken out against the Compact, and you've also, with this working group, asked the community for input. To what extent will public comment and opinions influence your decision moving forward?
I think it's incredibly important to understand the views of our community. We are first and foremost an academic community, and so we need to understand what our students and faculty think.
Members of the state senate just the other day threatened to strip UVA of state funding if it signed on to the compact. Will this influence your decision at all?
We're a state institution, and of course the General Assembly provides funding for the university. They can decide to increase or decrease that funding for whatever reason they think appropriate, just as, unfortunately, the federal government has a number of levers over funding that they can employ.
How acceptable is it for the government to be involved in university values? Like how valuable is that partnership, and what ideally would it look like?
Ideally, the way the partnership would work is the government would fund research that is designed to solve societal problems and to contribute to the basic store of knowledge of humanity. And for their part, universities would not be political or ideological actors, but instead would focus on the production and dissemination of knowledge, which is the main purpose of a university.
The Faculty Senate, the Student Council, the AAUP, and other organizations have issued votes of no confidence in the Board of Visitors, and it seems like, from an outsider, that there might be a widespread loss of confidence in the Board of Visitors and the direction that UVA may or may not be moving in. Do you feel like those concerns are realistic?
I think the individual entities that have expressed those views would have to explain why it is that they hold those views and what they want to see from the Board of Visitors. That's not really my role.
In general, do you feel confident that UVA is moving in the right direction right now?
Yes, absolutely. I do feel confident that we are moving in the right direction.
And could you talk about why?
Sure. I think that we had a turbulent summer and early fall. We need to refocus on our mission, which is teaching, research, and patient care. There are, of course, some external challenges that we face, and I realize that those are causing anxiety. But this university has navigated its way through challenging situations before, and I think my job is to instill a sense of confidence that we are going to navigate through these challenges as well.
Moving topics a little bit, have you spoken with the Presidential Search Committee about potentially being a candidate for the permanent role?
The Presidential Search Committee hired a search firm, and the search firm contacted me to say, you've been nominated for the position. That's what I know.
You announced recently that the Justice Department closed 2 investigations at UVA. One involved UVA's response to anti-Semitism on grounds, and the other dealt with admission practices at McIntyre and Darden. What response from UVA prompted the DOJ to close those investigations?
We communicated to them both what our policies are and how those policies have been applied, and they concluded that they were not going to take any action against UVA with respect to those 2 investigations.
Will those materials be made public at all, or is that a confidential thing?
They were submitted in confidence to the Department of Justice.
And what is the status of the other ongoing investigations?
I continue to discuss those investigations with the Department of Justice. Unfortunately, those are matters that we can't discuss publicly until the investigations are concluded. Shifting
gears, DEI programs have been terminated across the American college landscape as a result of executive orders from the current administration. Your predecessor, Jim Ryan, was very vocal and active in promoting DEI, and so how do you feel about DEI initiatives at the college level?
I feel like UVA should be a welcoming and inclusive place for everyone. I also believe that every student, every faculty member, every staff member should be treated as an individual. And I think as long as we keep those two goals in mind, that we will both be acting in accordance with law and acting in accordance with our values.
Is there anything you're doing now to uphold that, or are you just kind of, letting policies that have already been in place just kind of run their course right now?
Can you give me a little bit of additional
just
detail on what upholding means?
Just I know you're interim president. We don't know what, things might be different a year from now. Are you doing anything now related to DEI to, advance it or not? Or are you just kind of sitting back and letting what's already been in place or has previously been taken away, just kind of move forward?
What I'm trying to do is make sure that everything we do communicates to all of our students, all of our faculty, all of our staff, that you are valued here, you belong here, and we are going to do everything we can to support you.
I know a common concern from students is cost of attendance, tuition.
Right.
And former President Ryan emphasized expanding financial aid to make UVA affordable and accessible. Will you continue this during your term?
We're going to be working very hard on affordability and accessibility. When people talk about affordability, they're often talking about the tuition and financial aid side, but of course there's an expense side as well. And I think until you really address the expense side, you can't make as much progress as you'd like on the tuition and financial aid side. So I'm going to be working on both of those.
Okay, and when you say expenses, do you mean like room and board, things like that?
No, I mean the university's overall costs.
Part of the compact was capping tuition, and I know for a lot of students that might be something that they find really appealing about the compact. Could you talk about, is that one of the factors that you're considering, or are there ways to make UVA more affordable without necessarily agreeing with the other parts of the compact? Like where do those sorts of things stand?
I'm not going to discuss specific aspects of the compact right now. We're still working on our response.
Is there anything else you'd like to add or to anything we've asked so far? Those were all of my questions.
I think I'll just add that it's an incredible honor for me to be in a position to try to serve a university that I love greatly. I hope very much that I'm successful in doing that, and I appreciate all of the very kind words that I've received from so many members of this community in my short time in office.